Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Eva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprahe Shavadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12. Today we are starting Chapter 12, the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam summarized. Text 1 onwards. Sutuvacha Namo Dharmaya Mahate Namah Krishnaya Vedase Varamnebhyo Namaskritya Dharman Vakshya Sanatanan. Sut Goswami said, offering my obeisances to the supreme religious principle, devotional service to Lord Krishna, the supreme creator, and to all the Brahmins, I shall now describe the eternal principles of religion. In this 12th chapter of 12th canto, Sut Goswami will summarize all the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning from the first canto. Etadvah katitam vipra Vishnu Charitamadbhutam Bhavadviryad aham Prishto Naranam Purushochitam. O great sages, I have narrated to you the wonderful pastimes of Lord Vishnu as inquired about them from me. Hearing such narrations is a suitable engagement for a person who is actually a human being. So the words Naranam Purushochitam indicate that men and women who actually come to the standard of human life hear and chant the glories of the Supreme Lord, whereas uncivilized persons may not be interested in the signs of God. So if we are human being, and this should be our suitable engagement, nothing else. Atra sankirtita sakshat sarva papa haru hari Narayano Rishikesho Bhagavan Satatam Pati. This literature fully glorifies the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who removes all his devotees' sinful reactions. The Lord is glorified as Narayan, Rishikesha, and the Lord of the Sattvatas. Lord Krishna's many holy names indicate his extraordinary transcendental qualities. The name Hari indicates that the Lord removes all sins from the heart of his devotee. Narayan indicates that the Lord sustains the existence of all other beings. Rishikesha indicates that Lord Krishna is the ultimate controller of the senses of all living beings. The word Bhagavan indicates that Lord Krishna is the all-attractive supreme being, and the word Sattvatam Pati indicates that the Lord is naturally the master of saintly and religious people, especially the members of the exalted Yadu family. So different names of Krishna according to his different characteristics or pastimes. Atra Brahma Param Guhyam Jagata Prabhavapyayam Jnanam cha tad upakhyanam proktam vijnana samyatam. This literature describes the mystery of the supreme absolute truth, the source of the creation and annihilation of this universe. Also presented a divine knowledge of him together with the process of its cultivation and the transcendental realization one achieves. Bhakti yoga samakyato vairagyam chatadasharayam parikshitam upakhyanam naradakyanam evacha. The following topics are also narrated: the process of devotional service together with its subsidiary feature of renunciation, and the histories of Maharaj Parikshit and the sage Narad. So that is starting from first canto. All this was discussed. Prayopavesho Rajarshe Viprashat Parikshitaha Yukasya Brahmashvasya Sambadasya Parikshitaha. Also described in detail, the saintly King Parikshit sitting down to fast until death in response to the curse of the Brahman son, and the conversations between Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami, who was the best of all Brahmans. Yoga Dharane Yotkranti Sambado Narada Jayo Avatara Nugitam Cha Sarga Pradhaniko Agrataha. The Bhagavatam explains how one can attain liberation at the time of death by practicing fixed meditation in yoga. It also contains a discussion between Narad and Brahma, an enumeration of the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and a description of how the universe was created in progressive sequence, beginning from the unmanifested stage of material nature. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that it would be difficult to give a complete list of the numerous accounts and topics contained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, it is understood that Sut Goswami is merely summarizing the topics. We should not consider the topics he fails to mention here less important or superfluous, since every letter and word of Srimad Bhagavatam is absolute, Krishna conscious sound vibration. So whatever he is saying, it's good, but it doesn't mean rest topics are not important. Vidur Uddhava Samvada Kshatri Maitreya Yostataha Prana Samhita Prashno Mahapurusha Samsitihi. This scripture also relates the discussions Vidura had with Uddhava and with Maitreya, inquiries about the subject matter of this Purana, and the winding up of creation within the body of the Supreme Lord at the time of annihilation. Tada prakritika sarga sapta vaikritakascha ye tato brahmanda sambhutir vairaja purusho yataha. The creation effected by the agitation of the modes of material nature, the seven stages of evolution by elemental transformation, and the construction of the universal egg from which arises the universal form of the Supreme Lord. All these are thoroughly described. Yeah, that we studied. That's described in much detail. Kalasya sthul sukshmasya gati padma samudbhava bhuva udharane ambodher hiranyaksha vadho yatha. Other topics include the subtle and gross movements of time, the generation of the lotus from the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and the killing of the demon Hiranyaksha when the earth was delivered from the Garbhodak ocean. Urdhvatir yag vaksargo rudra sarga satheva cha ardha narishvarasya yatha swayam manu. Bhagavatam also describes the creation of demigods, animals, and demoniac species of life, the birth of Lord Rudra, and the appearance of Swayambhuva Manu from the half-man, half-woman Ishvara. Shatarupa cha yastrinam adya prakritiruttama santano dharma patninam kardamasya prajapate. Also related are the appearance of the first woman, Shatarupa, who was the excellent consort of Manu and the offspring of the pious wives of Prajapati Kardam. Avataro Bhagavata Kapilasya Mahatmana Devahutyasya Sambhadaha Kapilena Cha Dhimata. Bhagavatam describes the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the exalted sage Kapila and records the conversation between that greatly learned soul and his mother Devahuti. Nava Brahm Samutpatir Daksha Yagya Vinashana Dhruvasya Charitam Pashat Pritho Prachina Barhisha Naradasya Cha Samvadas Tata Prae Vratam Dvija Nabhes Tato Anu Charitam Rishabhasya Bharatasya Cha. Also described are the progeny of the 9 great Brahmins, the destruction of Daksha's sacrifice, and the history of Dhruv Maharaj, followed by the histories of King Prithu and King Prachin Barhi, the discussion between Prachin Barhi and Narad, and the life of Maharaj Priyavrat. Then of Brahma, the Bhagavatam tells of the character and activities of King Nabhi, Lord Rishabh, and King Bharat. Dvipa Varsha Samudharana, Girin Udyapavarnanam, Jyotish Chakrasya Samsthanam, Patala Naraka Sthitihi. Bhagavatam gives an elaborate description of the earth's continents, regions, oceans, mountains, and rivers. Also described are the arrangement of the celestial sphere and the conditions found in subterranean regions and in hell. So subterranean regions means below earth. So there are heavenly planets also, we call Biliswarga, which is subterranean heavenly planets, and below that is hell. And we did study all these descriptions of hell also. Daksha janma prachetobhyas tatputrinam cha santati yato devasur naras tirayang nak khagadayaha. The rebirth of Prajapati Daksha as the son of the Prachetas and the progeny of Daksha's daughters, who initiated the races of demigods, demons, human beings, animals, serpents, birds, and so on. All this is described. Tvashturasya janma nidhanam putriyoscha ditera dvijah datyeshvarasya charitam prahadasya mahatmana. O Brahmins also recounted are the births and deaths of Vritrasura and Diti's son Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, as well as the history of the greatest of Diti's descendants, the exalted soul Prahlad. Manvantara Nukathanam Gajendrasya Vimokshanam Manvantaravadharascha Vishnurahai Shiradayaha. The reign of each Manu, the liberation of Gajendra, and the special incarnations of Lord Vishnu in each Manvantar, such as Lord Hai Shirsha, are described as well. Kormam Matsyam Narasingham Vamanam cha Jagatpate Kshiro Damathanam Tadvat Amritarthe Divokasam. The Bhagavatam also tells of the appearances of the Lord of the universe as Kurma, Matsya, Narsimha, and Vaman, and of the demigods churning of the milk ocean to obtain nectar. Devasura Mahayuddham Rajvanshanu Kirtanam Ikshvaku Janma Tadvanshaha Sudyumnasya Mahatmana. An account of the great battle fought between the demigods and the demons. A systematic description of the dynasties of various kings and narrations concerning Ikshvaku's birth, his dynasty, and the dynasty of pious Sudyumna, all are presented within this literature. Elopakyanam atroktam taropakyanam evacha surya vanshanu kathanam shashadadya nrigadaya. Also related are the histories of Ila and Tara and the description of the descendants of the sun god, including such kings as Shashad and Nirig. Tokanyam chata sharyate kakutasthasya cha dhimataha khatvangasya cha mandhatu sobhare sagrasya cha. The histories of Sukanya, Sharyati, the intelligence, Kakustha, Khatvang, Mandhata, Sobhri, and Sagar are narrated. Ramasya Kaushalendrasya Charitam Kil Vishapaham Nime Ranga Parityago Jankanam Jasambhava. The Bhagavatam narrates the sanctifying pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, the king of Kaushal, and also explains how King Nimi abandoned his material body. The appearance of the descendants of King Janak is also mentioned. Ramasya Bhargavendrasya Nikshatri Ikaranam Bhuva Ailasya Som Vanshasya Yayatir Nahushasya Cha Doshvanter Bharatasyapi Shantano Astatsutasya Cha Yayatir Jeshtha Putrasya Yadur Vansho Anukirtitaha. The Srimad Bhagavatam describes how Lord Parshuram, the greatest descendant of Bhrigu, annihilated all the Kshatriyas on the face of the earth. It further recounts the lives of glorious kings who appeared in the dynasty of the moon god, kings such as Aila, Yayati, Nahusha, Dushwan's son, Bharat, Shantanu, and Shantanu's son, Bhishma. Also described in the great dynasty founded by King Yadu, the eldest son of Yayati. Yatravatir Tirino Bhagavan Krishnakyo Jagadishvara Vasudev Grihe Janma Tato Vridhischa Gokule. How Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Lord of the universe, descended into this Yadu dynasty. How he took birth in the home of Vasudeva and how it then grew up in Gokul. All this is described in detail. Tasya karmani parani kirtitani asuradvisha putana supaya panam shakato chatanam shisho trinavartasya nishpeshas tathaiva bhagavatsayo aghasur vadho dhatra vatspala vaguhanam. Also glorified are the innumerable pastimes of Shri Krishna, the enemy of the demons, including his childhood pastimes of sucking out Putna's life air along with the breast milk, breaking the cart, trampling down Trinavarta, killing Bakasura, Vatsasura, and Aghasura, and the pastimes he enacted when Lord Brahma hid his calves and cowherd boyfriends. Okay. So when it comes to Krishna, Suyuta Goswami also going into what all the demons he killed and different pastimes he performed. He didn't go into detail for other incarnations. Dhenukasya sahabrahatu pralambasya cha sanshaya gopanam cha paritranam davagne parisarapta. The Srimad Bhagavatam tells how Lord Krishna and Lord Balram killed the demon Dhenukasura and his companions, how Lord Balram destroyed Pralambasura, and also how Krishna saved the cowherd boys from a raging forest fire that had encircled them. Damanam Kali Yasyaher Mahaherananda Mokshanam Vratacharya tu Kanyanam Yatra Tushto Achito Vrata Prasado Yagya Patnibhyo Vipranam Chanutapanam Govardhano Dharanam Cha Shakrasya Surabheratha Yagyabhisheka Krishnasya Stribhi Krida Charatrishu Shankachudasya Durbuddhera Vadho Arishtasya Keshinaha. The chastisement of the serpent Kali and the rescue of Nanda Maharaj from a great snake, the severe vows performed by the young gopis, Buddha satisfied Lord Krishna. The mercy he showed the wives of the Vedic Brahmins who felt remorse, the lifting of Govardhan Hill, followed by the worship and bathing ceremony performed by Indra and the Surabhi cow. Lord Krishna's nocturnal pastimes with the cowherd girls and the killing of the foolish demons, Shankachuda, Arishta, and Keshi, all these pastimes are elaborately recounted. Akrura gamanam paschat prasthanam Rama Krishnayo Vrajastrinam vilapascha Mathura lokanam tata. The Bhagavatam describes the arrival of Akrura, the subsequent departure of Krishna and Balram, the lamentation of the gopis, and the touring of Mathura. Gajamushtika Chanura Kansadinam Tathavada Bharatasya Nayanam Suno Puna Sandhi Paner Guru. Also narrated are how Krishna and Balram killed the elephant Kuvalya Pira, the wrestlers Mushtik and Chanur, and Kansa and other demons, as well as how Krishna brought back the dead son of his spiritual master, Sandipni Muni. So merely by mentioning all these, all the sages must be remembering all the details of this matter. Mathurayam nivasata yadu chakrasya yat priyam kritam uddhava ramabhyam yutena harina dvija. Then, O Brahmins, this scripture recounts how Lord Hari, while residing in Mathura in the company of Uddhav and Balram, performed pastimes for the satisfaction of the Yadu dynasty. Jarasandha samanita sanyasya bhusho vadha ghatanam yavanedrasya kushasthalya niveshanam. Also described as the annihilation of each of the many armies brought by Jarasandha, the killing of the barbarian king Kalevan, and the establishment of Dwarka city. Adanam parijatasya sudharmaya suralaya rukminya haranam yuddhe pramathya dvishito hare. This work also describes how Lord Krishna brought from heaven the Parija tree and the Sudharma assembly hall, and how he kidnapped Rukmini by defeating all his rivals in the battle. Harasya jarambhanam yuddhe banasya bhruja krintanam praga jyotish patim hatva kanyanam haranam chayat. Also narrated are how Lord Krishna in the battle with Banasur defeated Lord Shiva by making him yawn, how the Lord cut off Banasur's arms, and how he killed the master of Prag Jyotishpur and then rescued the young princesses held captive in that city. चैद्य पौंड्र कचालवानां दन्तवक्रस्य दुर्मते शम्बरो द्विविधा पीठो मुरा पंचन्नादयः महात्म्यं च वधस्तेषां वाराणस्याश्च दाहनं भारावतरणं पुमेर निमित्तीकृत्य पाण्डवान्. There are descriptions of the powers and the deaths of King of Chedi, Pondrak, Shalva, the foolish, Dantavakra, Shambar, Dvivid, Pita, Mura, Panchajan, and the other demons, along with the description of how Varanasi was burned to the ground. The Bhagavatam also recounts how Lord Krishna relieved the earth's burden by engaging the Pandavas in the battle of Kurukshetra. विप्रशापापदेशेन संहारः सुकुलस्य च उद्धवस्य च संवादो वसुदेवस्य चाद्भुतः यत्रात्मविद्या हि अखिला प्रोक्ता धर्मविनिर्णयः ततो मर्त्य परित्यागः आत्मयोगानुभावतः. How the Lord withdrew his own dynasty on the pretext of Brahman's curse, Vasudev's conversation with Narad, the extraordinary conversation between Uddhava and Krishna, which reveals the science of the self in complete detail and elucidates the religious principles of human society. And then how Lord Krishna gave up his mortal world by his own mystic power. The Bhagavatam narrates all these events. So we studied all extraordinary conversation between Uddhava and Krishna, which was practically the whole 11th canto, Uddhava Gita. Wonderful teachings. Yugalakshana vritischa kalo niranam uplavaha chaturvidhascha pralaya utpatti strividha tatha. This work also describes people's characteristics and behavior in the different ages and the chaos men experience in the age of Kali, the 4 kinds of annihilation and the 3 kinds of creation. Dehatyagasya rajarshir Vishnu ratasya dhimata shakha pranayan risher markandeyasya satkatha mahapurusha vinyasa suryasya jagadatmanaha. There are also an account of the passing away of the wise and saintly King Vishnurata Parikshit, an explanation of how Srila Vyasadeva disseminated the branches of the Vedas, a pious narration concerning Markandeya Rishi, and a description of the detailed arrangement of the Lord's universal form and his form as the sun, the soul of the universe. Iti choktam dvijashreshta yata prishto ahamehasmi vah lila avatara karmani kirti tani hi sarvasha. Thus, O best of the Brahmins, I have explained herein what you have inquired from me. This literature has glorified in full detail the activities of the Lord's pastime incarnations. Patitas khalitas chartaha shutva chaviva vishato granan harenam iti uchchar muchyate sarva patakat. If when falling, slipping, feeling pain or sneezing, one involuntarily cries out in a loud voice obeisances to Lord Hari, one will be automatically freed from all his sinful reactions. Wow. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that Lord Sri Chaitanya is always loudly chanting the song Haraya Namah Krishna in the courtyard of Shivas Thakur, and that the same Lord Chaitanya will free us from our materialistic enjoying propensity if we also loudly chant the glories of the Supreme Lord Hari. So either we chant obeisances to Lord Hari or we chant Hare Krishna. If something happens to us, falling, slipping, feeling pain, sneezing, or anything, any moment of distress, just we need to practice so much that only the name of Hari, name of Krishna, name of Radharani comes out. Sankirtya manu bhagavan ananta shrutanu bhavo vyasnam hi punsam pravishya chittam vidhanoti ashesham Yatha tamo arko abhrami vatiyataha. When people properly glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead or simply hear about His power, the Lord personally enters their hearts and cleanses away every trace of misfortune, just as the sun removes the darkness or as a powerful wind drives away the clouds. One may not be satisfied by the example of the sun removing the darkness, and sometimes the darkness in a cave is not removed by the sun. Therefore, the example is given of a strong wind that drives away cover of clouds. It is thus emphatically stated here that the Supreme Lord will remove from the heart of His devotee the darkness of material illusion. All we have to do is take shelter of His holy name, chant His holy name more and more. Mrisha girastha asatir rasat katha na katyate yad bhagwan adhokshaja tadev satyam tadu eva mangalam tadeva punyam bhagavad gunodayam. Words that do not describe the transcendental personality of Godhead, but instead deal with temporary matters, are simply false and useless. Only those words that manifest the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord are actually truthful, auspicious, and pious. Rest everything just useless. Sooner or later, all material literature and discussion must fail the test of time. On the other hand, the transcendental descriptions of the Supreme Lord can free us from the bondage of illusion and restore us to our eternal status as loving servants of the Lord. Although men who are like animals may criticize the glorification of the absolute truth, those who are civilized should go on vigorously propagating the transcendental glories of the Lord. Because ultimately, this is the one that is going to save us. This is the one that is going to remain in the world. This is the absolute truth. Absolute. Rest, everything is relative and hardly matters how much we talk about other literature, other topics. Doesn't matter. Only the name of Krishna, Krishna Katha, Krishna Leela, that's the only thing that matters. Because this is going to remove us, free us from the bondage of illusion. Nothing else will. Everything else will, in fact, make the bondage more severe. So, okay, let us stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Prabhuji, Adhokshaja meaning?
Adhokshaja means one who cannot be reached by our material senses.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare Krishna, Mata, please accept mine.
So much we have learned, Prabhuji, but it is like Kali Yuga, impact of Kali Yuga only that we don't remember all the stories, only few stories which has marked something in our brain. Okay, this was done.
It's
But
okay, we just have to read them again and again and again. That's all.
a mixed feeling, Prabhuji, that this is going to come to an end on 2017 we started, right?
2017, yeah.
Mataji, it is everlast. Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhuji already announced, so we'll start with that.
So we are going to start Chaitanya Charitamrita after this.
Yes. Of course, yes.
Nectar of instruction.
Nectar of instruction.
Everlasting, Mataji. We will continue to hear, because otherwise, if we, Prabhuji will be, won't say this, that we will stop someday, but then again we will fall back,
Yes, very true.
Towards from where we started.
Even I am thrilled, actually. I didn't realize that we would be completing whole Bhagavatam. I never thought we could do that.
Very cool to you, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada's mercy only. Krishna's mercy.
Yes. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata.
Reading.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
not related to the subject, but then somebody asked me that why there is a temple of Brahma, only one temple, two temples in the world, while all the demigods have a lot of temples. One is in Rajasthan and one is in Bali, Indonesia somewhere.
Yeah, one is in Pushkar.
Pushkar,
Rajasthan.
why are there only two temples of Brahma?
Well, there was this pastime of Lord Brahma when he saw his daughter in the form of a female deer. So he somehow, Krishna's Maya worked on him and he became lusty after her and he ran after her. And he took the form of a male deer and ran after her. So at that time over there were many exalted personalities. Lord Shiva was there, and Lord Shiva's position is of, although he appears from within the eyebrows of Brahma, but his position is on a higher platform. So he chastised Lord Brahma. What are you doing? Come to your senses. So he could do that. This was his position. And then 4 Kumaras were there. They were sons of Brahma. They could not chastise their father. They started praying to the Lord, praying to Lord Vishnu. Please give right sense to Brahmaji, our father. So they were okay. That was a good thing to do. That was the right thing to do. And there were 6 sons of Atri. And they started laughing at Brahmaji. Look what he's doing. And that is why they had to take birth as first as 6 sons who were killed by Kansa. No, first as 6 sons killed by Hiranyakashipu, and then 6 sons who were killed by Kansa. They were the 6 sons of Devaki who were killed by Kansa. But then their Narad Muni was there. There was some heated conversation. Narad Muni said that you will not be worshipped anywhere in the world because of this offense, this act of yours. But he's still our Sampradaya's founder Acharya. We come in that Sampradaya. So for us, he's very respectable, but somehow because of that pastime, he's not worshipped. But this is also to show how Maya is so strong. Even Lord Brahma could not resist. Although he's a pure devotee, he has compiled this Brahma Samhita for pleasure of Krishna, glorification of Krishna, and did so many services for Krishna. But still. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Ashok Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Is it okay? Was it okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Chalo, we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.